Good morning, everybody. How you guys doing? Hello, hello. Happy Saturday to all of you. Doing all right, CoolDaddy. I was actually just sitting down to read your HNT DD, and then I fucking remembered I had to stream. Lars, welcome, man. Awesome. Good morning. Happy Saturday. What's up, Smocks? Yeah, it has. 7 weeks of streaming. It's kind of crazy. I never thought that when I bought GameStop, I'd be starting a pickle-based cult, but here we are. This wasn't in DFE's DD. I'll be 100% honest. Apparently, he is the real Elon. Missed you too, Elon. I was watching your past clips on TV when you came on. We all did, Austinadian, but it's okay. We'll be rich soon enough, don't worry. Good morning, Chris. What's on today's menu? Whatever you guys want. That's the point of this. We can talk about anything you guys want to talk about. Any questions you have? We could talk about Baconators if you want to, Holy. I think mostly the idea behind this is that you get like a level of access or like a level of information you're kind of unable to get in the regular stream just because of the traffic, you know? So this is more of like an audience focused stream as opposed to being like a stock focused stream. I think. I don't know. That's what the tutorial video told me. That's right. I watch tutorial videos. Like, I've searched things like how to YouTube. I looked up some things on how not to be a toxic asshole. They didn't work. I thought this was the stream where you leak your DD. Nope, it's not. I can tell you all the things my DD isn't, but I can't tell you what it is. It's very hard to figure out. And I'm still not sure of it. So it's like, what's the point? Hope that wasn't me inducing FOMO. I think it was, CoolDaddy. YouTube Academy. Maybe. Maybe I've watched some of their videos. Oh, so you work in IT, Chris? Why do you feel personally attacked, Dr. K? Well, you're always feeling attacked. This is the third time you've felt attacked now. Is New York mostly open? Yeah, for the most part, but you know, it's crowded and you're very likely to get the Delta strain. Costellosaurus. Any predictions for this week? There's been a lot of hype, but there's hype every week. I mean, rightfully so. We've only really had like like a few weeks where we shouldn't have been hype, right? Like 5 weeks of the last like 6 months that weren't pretty hype. It's just that they were hyper than we thought in hindsight. Oh no, I'm a crypto pumper now. Get used to it. One day before MOASS, can you wear a shirt and a hat that isn't black? That will give the hot tub pickles a heads up. Maybe. Let's just talk some TA. I haven't done my technical analysis on the stock yet for this week. Thanks, boring Kyle. I'll still be here in an hour, so you can come back. You can also watch the VOD. This is the stream where Gert crowdsources season 5 episode titles. We're not at season 5 yet. We've still got 7 episodes to go. Scared by the darkness? Don't be. Do you want me to put something on in the background? That was weird. There we go. Could you do some TA on the long-term trend on HNT? I don't know, now it's a bit silly due to the sell pressure. Yeah, we can check that out. HNT to USD. I mean, this kind of also looks like a Wyckoff distribution, but it could also just be like a steady uptrend. It's had decent growth since its inception in June of 20, or since this started tracking it. Like a fairly consistent long-term uptrend. There was this dip here. I don't know what that was caused by. Right now it looks like it's bouncing on the long-term trend. Possibly retesting, like, what was its high? Probably retesting this resistance here, so. Let's see. Horizontal line. Looks like resistance about there, about 18. There's probably like another trend from like here to here. And you would have one more from here to here. Is it moving like that? Ew. So yeah, it looks like it's bouncing currently. I guess it'll test here, and if it clears that, it could see new all-time highs. maybe a catalyst in its future. That kind of, you were kind of discussing that there's a catalyst coming up, right? It looks like pretty primed for a breakout too on the daily. Like we got this like wedge. It's like coming in on this wedge right now. Like this descending wedge, which is, you know, like 70, 72 something percent bullish. So it looks good. I mean, crypto's the thing about using TA on crypto is it doesn't always work because they're not technically a security, right? And most TAs has been built either in like the futures market or on securities. And so TA has a higher failure rate, even though it does most, because like cryptos are mostly traded like a security, it does have a higher fail rate. The DD is just kind of stagnant right now, Smock Socks. Just waiting for things to play out, and you know, if those play out the way we think they will, then you know, I'll write it up. Or well, publish it. I guess it's mostly written up already. Talks about folks saying no options available on the 13th. There's just no one selling options on that date. It's not a big deal. As we get closer to that date, the options will fill in. It's just not, there's just not a lot of open interest on that date, and so there's no reason for people to want to sell there, right? I do actually have a request. Okay, yeah, so it doesn't actually look at, oh, by the way, CoolDaddy, it doesn't look that affected by Bitcoin. Like there could be a Wyckoff distribution on it. Like, so if it peaks here again and then fails, you could see it drop down to like its previous low, but it doesn't look that way right now. You'd have to see this big like failure below this long, like this low trend. So I hope that helps you out. If you want, DM me and I'll screenshot this and send it to you. This week's volume on GME is the lowest so far this year. Yeah, I believe so. Thank you, Sarah. A few minutes late. Have you addressed the volume issue we're discussing on the Discord? I don't know what that is. Who's coughing now? Can you kind of just expand on that? I've talked about several things to do with volume in the last 16 hours. You have some royalty-free elevator music for the stream? Yeah, you can go find some royalty-free elevator music and listen to it while you listen to the stream. That's why I don't play music on the stream, is just so like you guys can listen to whatever you want, right? Without having to hear what I choose. So my gut feeling right. I knew my fundamentals were, but it's good to see TA supports it. Awesome, dude. Morning, Johnny Diamond Hands. It's actually really fascinating to watch you do this without a bunch of people asking you the same dumb questions. Yeah, absolutely, man. That's kind of the coolest part about this. I actually like the Saturday streams a lot. Say my call runs way up overnight. Is there? There'll be a sell-off right at market open and high volatility. I want to get out ASAP. Is a market sell too risky? Better strategy. I mean, a market sell at open is kind of, it depends on the volatility. It could be risky. Give me more information, Snoozy. Like, you can give me more information and it still doesn't have to be like financial advice, right? Do you think the volume will ever be lower this week? This coming week, I think we're going to have quite a lot of volume. That's what I expect. And not from just the technical analysis. I have a lot of supporting data that should show that we see something happen this week at least. It could be an indicator of a huge breakout. I mean, that's literally what BBKC is, right? Is that like so when you move into these like big stretches of low volatility, right? You get tons of like consolidation, right? So we had a lot of volatility here through this section from like there, from here up to here, and then to there, right? And then this is just consolidation, right? So this means that buy and sell are like basically in equilibrium. Obviously a little sell side heavier. That's why the dip. But after yesterday's action, it looks like we're starting to turn that around. And if I switch to, so this is one of the rare occasions where I will use other candles, so you can actually see, like in the TA, the turnaround. So we're already turning around. So we're just bouncing slightly lower than anticipated, right? And this is a lot of that, like, they're going to short the breakout kind of shit. I mean, they did it. If you guys remember, they did it. They've done it to us several times on, like, expected breakouts. We had, let me see if I can dig back for some of them. This one was a big one right here. This, when we came out of that like long term, if you guys remember this one, and like we broke out like on the minute and to the upside. That was a cool one. I was very happy about that. But like they shorted the shit out of this. So like, actually, I think this is how it went. Is it was like here, and then we had to like redraw because they shorted the breakout, and then it went up. But that's just because like I theorize that they know when they have to cover a little bit, and that's what our run-ups are. So they just try to get the price as low as possible before they have to start buying stock. Is there a way I could keep this from moving? What question was I on? Yeah, having on August 1st. Okay, so that could be like a big breakout to the upside. It might be like starting to be priced in now on the bounce. If it's about a month out, CoolDaddy. Did I have anything good for dinner last night? Not really. Just had like, I got some pizza. It was okay. Yeah, absolutely CoolDaddy. When are you gonna go over setting up screeners? It's a good question, Dr. K. I would have to think of alternative, like less profitable ways to set them up because I'm not gonna give anybody my screener, right? Like your screener is like your, it's like your best friend. Like you don't just hand it out. It's hard to. It's like your own little treasure. Yeah, I know, CoolDaddy. Last year, around the same time. I think it was like the 16th was lower volume, but it was pretty close. Summers tend to be lower volume. People go away. It's war between banks and BlackRock within ETFs. Thoughts? Interesting take. I mean, it's I wouldn't say BlackRock and banks. There's definitely a war between the hedge funds going on that we're not. I mean, we're a part of it, right? But we don't really have a lot of effect on it. I mean, I guess we strengthened BlackRock's position in the case of GME. Ooh, supporting data. Can you share? No. Epic Pen not working. Oh, is it seriously not working? God damn it. Every time. Ugh. Yeah, I mean, the last time they shorted our breakout, they dropped us down to like, what was it? Like 131, I think. Like right here. And this time they dropped us to like 177. So every time it's just higher, right? The floor just keeps getting higher and higher. And we should be trading up here at like 225 anyway. So this is anything below this is like just price suppression with not a lot of buy power. Does anyone else use Vanguard? I fixed the Epic Pen, right? You guys can see it now. I hope so. Does anyone else use Vanguard and have any worries about order execution during volatility? Actually, Vanguard is super solid during volatility. Vanguard's probably one of the most reliable brokers during high volatility. Their system might be old and decrepit, but it's stable as fuck. Like, more stable than Fidelity. And IBKR is pretty close to Vanguard in order execution as well, but like they have faster order execution, but they do have some issues with like high volatility, high interest stocks sometimes. I thought you were my best friend. I didn't say I wasn't, Dr. K. I can be if you need me to. Where's Mr. Diggs? Like SPC shut up in after hours last week, then sold off right when the market opened the next day. On TD, option prices don't update till like 10, 20 seconds after the market opens. I mean, the options prices don't really update till 10, 20 seconds after the market opens on most platforms. Because the options market opens at 9:30, so it takes it a minute for like the data to get out. You can set a limit sell at like the closing limit from the night before and hope you fill in the volatility in the morning. That's like one way to do it. You can set a market sell if you're worried it's going to tank. You might as well get out with something. Like I mean, the risk of using market sells isn't as relevant outside of like a short squeeze. Like market sells aren't like a dangerous thing to use normally. They're the most used order type, right? But like when we talk about market orders and like stop losses being bad, they're bad in like a black swan type of event, right? Where you have these massive price fluctuations, like not when a stock's dipping like 4%, right? Your screener is your best friend who snorts crushed caffeine pills. Guy's just an idiot. If I use a limit, I could be chasing the price down. If I use a market, there's high volatility. There's no telling. Yeah. I mean, like in that instance, I would probably use if I thought it was going to come down hard. I would probably use on market sell, but I probably would have sold. I wouldn't have carried the option overnight. So that's like ultimately like where the real mistake was there. No offense, like everyone's got to learn, but like the real mistake was probably carrying the option overnight because what you could do is you could sell at close, right? And then if you think it's going to run the next day, you can buy back in and maybe you'll lose a small amount, but not as much as you'll lose if it like crashes in pre-market, right? Or if it comes down like $15 in pre-market and opens and you're now negative on your contracts. Yeah, they have a solid system, Andrew. I'm just hoping new rules get enforced to keep them from kicking that can so much. Maybe. It could still be a while on the can kicking, but like not that much longer, but a little while. I think it depends on how certain things play out because that's actually a big part of what I'm looking into right now is part of like how the rules are affecting the system and if they are. Um, and currently, I need certain things to happen and time to pass on the market side to confirm certain things. Is there an Epic Pen upgrade in the future? I mean, even the paid version still crashes, so it's like it doesn't matter if I upgrade it. Can you go over the TA you just did because your pen wasn't working? Oh yeah, I mean I was just showing like instances where they shorted. So like we had that big, if you guys remember from like a while back, we had that actually it's probably better to do it here. We had this big wedge that like I think it went to like here and here like that. And then they shorted the end of it, right? And then we bounced and climbed up. And this is when everyone was like going on about Warden's like short staircase. But the reality of it was they just shorted the breakout, right? Because they wanted to. It drives the price down before they had to buy stock, and so they got the price as low as they could before they had to buy, which is again what they're doing here. But again, higher floor, right? We hit a low of 177 this time. Back here we hit like 131. So, you know, $40 higher. And good, cool. Do you hypothesize that price velocity will increase as we surpass the 225 price limit, given all the shorting post at the money offering? Yeah, it's really possible, actually. It tends to actually be that break even point where we run harder, right? So like this was an at the money offering as well back here. Remember, and that set our floor at 157 back then. And so if we look at the corresponding price action after we hit mean, we ran up really hard on these like 3 days, right? And then if we go over here and kind of play that out again, we should revert to mean at 225, right? And then have 3 high days. So like this could possibly delay the breakout here, but it may not, right? We may just run really hard along that lower trend. Hello, Armin. See you later, Starlight. Have a great weekend. Vanguard and Fidelity are the most reliable. IBKR is pretty reliable too. They're also a self-clearing brokerage. They're like the go-to brokerage for day trading. I don't know how they'll be affected by this, but they should be pretty stable as well. Schwab and TD are, I think, okay. Schwab had some issues, but I think they've cleared some of that up. Oh, I'm sorry. Do you hypothesize that the price velocity will increase? Okay, yeah, so I did cover that. Do you think they have the power to drop us down again if we have another breakout? Well, that's a good question, right? So if we break out to the upside of this and we fail this long-term trend here at like, I guess this is about 500. Let me see. Like 480-ish. So if we fail here or before this, right? If we fail, like this failed, this touched, but it ended up failing about $100 or $50 lower. So say like 430, and we turn around. Like, I would imagine that since there's not going to be another ATM, right? So this was all the at the money offering right here. And this was also an at the money offering here. And so they wouldn't have been able to bring us this as low as they have without that. And we're up $40. So this is 131. This is 177 or $46, right? So figure without that at the money offering action, we would have actually traded like this. And so we would have been much higher, like around like 230 or 225 where we're supposed to be, right? So you figure this one, if that happens again, we'd probably be trading around like 300 on the next run up. They do keep getting larger. Like the floor keeps getting higher. But if we break through that, I mean, we could hit like 1,000 off the cup and handle. We can hit like 1,050. Like cup and handles are 1.5 times to 3 times the value of the high breakout. So like this is $350. So that's like 525 to 1050. Price, like potential price. So yeah, if they do have the power to drop us down again, or they find a way to, then yeah, it could go down for a bit longer and have another consolidation period. It'll be very expensive, I think, at this point for them to do that, but it's possible. For brokers who do not manage volatility well, should we be concerned, or will the price consolidate towards the peak? I mean, it can be hard to log in at various points, but I wouldn't be super worried. I wouldn't be with like Robinhood if it's an option to get out of there. There's probably still some time. Although my share transfer hasn't gone through, but I messed it up, so that's kind of my own fault. Most people that have recently talked to me about share transfers have had it done in like T+2 days. But I would definitely try to, if the option is available to you to find a more stable brokerage. I don't care about my position in WeBull in the event of volatility if I can't like log in, because it represents like a very small percentage of my position. But yeah, I mean, we'll be stuck in the peaks for a while. Like, you should definitely have at least a day of trading in the peaks to, you know, get logged in and get out of your position. You can also, any brokerage, you can always call them and manually trade your shares. It's a requirement that they have an active phone line for you to contact them. It's part of their licensing. Can someone compile all the trading cards into a PDF so we can print and laminate ourselves? I'm old and don't know how to computer anymore. I'm sure somebody could do that for you. Just drop like a thing in the general chat or something. I'm sure somebody would be more than happy to. Isn't it a bit more expensive for them to short the price down than cover? I'm assuming it is, but buys them time. Short the price down then cover. Yeah, it's a little more expensive. Like, there's a net loss on that, McDavis, but like, it's better than letting the price run, right? Because that costs them way more money. So it's a measured risk, but it does cost them some money to suppress the price. Literally only takes 10-15 minutes listening to your TA to get jacked again. Awesome. Next exit point, call my broker from getting ready to trade. Going through the waiting on the phone and then place an order and then do it again. Yeah, I mean, if it's if we get to $10 million a share and you guys are still holding, don't worry. You'll get your money out of it. Like, you got plenty of fucking time. Who gives a shit if you sell, you know, some shares at 9 million or some at 12? Like, at that point, it just doesn't fucking matter, right? When you have if you have hundreds of millions or 50s of millions of dollars, like, a million's just not that much, right? It's like if you have two 20s and two 5s in your pocket and you gotta like tip the valet and you're like, I didn't want to give him a 5, but here. Like, it just doesn't, like, it just ultimately doesn't matter at that point. Just caught up from 1.5 speed. Huge fan of Vanguard, even though the UI is terrible. Yeah, I mean, they're a great brokerage, but they do have a terrible UI. Supposedly, they're working on updating that. Most recent, add the money and reserve extra ammo for the following breakout. Let GME essentially short themselves. Yeah, but they didn't expect the at the money offering either, right? Like, we were still in that like steady growth trend that was just fucking them really hard. And there's a chance that the at the money offering was suggested by the SEC in order to delay things. And I don't think that that's an unreasonable assumption. Like, the SEC can't demand that they release shares, but they could suggest it in order so they would buy them. They didn't have a lot of time at that point, right? The trend we were in was going to break out hard. If the at the money offering hadn't stopped it, we would have broken through this upper resistance line the next day. We would have smashed right through and kept going up. The at the money offering stalled things, right? But it wasn't enough shares to stop what's going on, right? And so it did buy them time, but maybe not enough. This period of consolidation is significantly shorter, so. Reason other than not wanting to cause MOASS. Can you think of any reason other than not wanting to cause MOASS for no one with enough capital trying to make money on the obvious gap in value between here and the 220? So yeah, so you could attempt an arbitrage play on the stock in order to like you buy here and like the actual real value of the stock is 225, but it's a risky play with the short position the way it is. You would have to hope that other entities would be willing to kind of hop on board that play with you, because that would overcapitalize like a small firm, right? So if there was like a smaller long fund that wanted to try to make that play to run the price up to 225, but ultimately that would be bad for us, right? Because they would drive the price up and then sell when they hit that break point, because they would just be trying to profit on the movement from here. And you could do that through options also and take less risk. Which the current like IV is probably very tempting for some people to do that. And just let the market makers move the price for you, right? But that would, yeah, that would, Sam Jones, that would require like a very like kind of coordinated attack. What's the percent for cup and handle on the daily going up? Amazon had a perfect setup this week. In hindsight, it seems like it was almost a sure thing. So Snoozy, yeah, and let me look at Amazon, because I saw somebody compare Amazon to AMC, and I thought that was a fucking joke. So yeah, Amazon had a nice cup and handle breakout to the upside here. Not really long enough to be like a true cup and handle. Like this is April through end of June. So this is a bit short. This isn't as nice as GME's. But yeah, they did have a cup and handle breakout. So it went up from here through, I guess the resistance was here. I mean, it looks like Amazon's going to continue breaking to the upside. Like currently, it still looks very bullish for this trend to continue. But yeah, that's a cup and handle breakout. It's not a sure thing. Cup and handle breakouts actually have a really high failure rate, as you can see in the previous cup and handle on Amazon, right? Here, it broke out, but it failed. So, no, not a guarantee by any means. The one on GME it's a more accurate cup. This cup and handle is far more accurate. It's nice and shallow. It's over a long trend, like it's almost exactly like 3 months, which is like the minimum time frame you should be looking at for a reliable cup and handle breakout. It has supporting signals that you're looking for, like it has the ascending triangle, which is the large. Oh, you guys can't see shit, can you? How much of that did you not see? Everything? God damn it. Like all of it? All right. So I'll go back to Amazon real quick. You guys heard everything I said. So oh, no, that's on Amazon. So here's the cup and handle that broke out on Amazon. There's the breakout line. It looks like it's still going to continue to run, but here's the previous cup and handle on Amazon, and it failed. See? So it broke out, but the breakout failed. So they only have like a 50% success rate, and this one's way too short. Whereas if we go look at GME's, if you look at GME's is like textbook perfect. It's, you know, exactly 3 months from point to point. It's a nice like shallow bull. Nice shallow bull. The test was at exactly the same resistance, which was true for Amazon as well. But yeah, they're definitely not guaranteed. This one's, so we're supported here by this ascending channel and this ascending triangle. So this has multiple indicators backing it up. This is a much more reliable cup and handle than the one you're seeing on Amazon, I guess is my point. Did you ever get to the bottom of the crazy cost basis amounts showing from Robinhood transfers? No, I think it was like ultimately like an error. Or just misreporting on people that had transferred. I know it was disproven at some point. I just can't remember it, like exactly why. It's good that, I guess it's good that everyone pays attention to every little thing like that, but 99% of the time it's just going to be like a glitch or an error. It's written down for multiple brokers. Awesome, Dan. And calling your broker, I'd be willing to bet one of my shares that the brokers will be calling you. Possible. Belly service on the moon confirmed. Where'd you get the idea that the SEC suggested an at the money from GME? I made it up in my head, but it's logical. So I'm not saying it's like true, but it makes sense. Which generally means that something's true. Just maybe not the thing I think. Because GameStop already had money. They didn't need more money. Why would the SEC need to buy time? Well, maybe they needed to buy time until MOASS. Till the stock squeezes. And an at-the-money offering does do exactly that. Maybe that's why Cohen said buckle up. Because we were going to go for a ride. As you know, roller coasters always start with a drop. Well, a climb and then a drop. But I wouldn't read too much into that. It's just that the SEC might have needed time for their investigation, and in order to show full cooperation, GameStop obliged. Because GameStop has had so many other opportunities to release shares onto the market for maximum capitalization, right? And they haven't. So that tells me that there was something else. Like, yeah, sure, they wanted money and like they want to do good things with the money. That's great, but like it shows me that there was another factor. Because they had money already. Someone shared screenshots on Discord of a guy who's claiming that the DTCC won't cover it. I knew this was going to come up. In the case of hedge funds being liquidated due to Rule 11, does that sound like it has any merit? How did it affect us? I'm not sure what Rule 11 is. I didn't read his whole diatribe because he was wrong on like a few points in the beginning, and I just kind of ignored the rest of it. I am not a lawyer, but I'll take a look. Rule 11 of CNS system. Control F. Hold on. Let's see here. CNS. Oh God. Is there a better way to navigate this? Oh, there we go. So contracts are selling trades, that's securities or netted members. Either obligated to deliver units to that security or is entitled to receive units to that security. The delivered obligation being to the corporation, the right to proceed being against the corporation is more specifically set forth by paragraphs B and C. Or by short positions, live positions. You should have any member that receive each under such transaction should assume. Transaction basis. Okay, that's. If he's thinking of subsection D, that's not how that works. Whatever corporation shall be required to exit or delete any CNS transaction from the CNS system. Obligation to deliver, the obligation to pay for securities delivered, as well as the correlative rights to receive securities and receive payment for securities shall be further assumed by and assigned to such members as may be designated by the corporation in accordance with its rules and procedures. An appropriate balancer, security, or its report as otherwise may be appropriate. I mean, they still have to deliver. There's a lender on this as well. You understand that, right? Like the lender's loaned shares still have to be satisfied. I see what he's saying about naked shorts. But the DTCC still has to. They're not the first in line by any means to cover the lender's liability. There's another regulatory agency that protects the lenders. But the DTCC does have to ensure at a certain point of failure. They're not the first point of failure, though. First, it would go short hedge fund, then broker-dealer, then clearinghouse, then lender, then DTCC, all of which have their own separate self-regulatory agencies. So, yeah, I mean, he's just not right is the easiest way to say it. Because, I mean, we could go really deep into the rules there, but he's wrong. Someone shared screenshots on Discord of a guy who's claiming, yeah, I saw that. So the at-the-money offering happened right before Russell reconstitution. Do you think the SSC suggested specifically for that reason? That's possible. Due to the low liquidity, maybe they suggested they release some shares so the ETFs could rebalance. Which would just mean that the shorts didn't really have access to a lot of those shares, right? There's a possibility that Jeffries only sold those shares to certain interested parties. I know one of our viewers tried to call Jeffries and get some of the shares, and they never were contacted back. Why did you rename the channel? Oh, Kanish, it was just easier for people to type, honestly. It's still Pickle Financial, but I renamed it so it would just be easier for people to like at me on their phone when they're watching in from mobile. I think like 53% of our viewers are on mobile, so it's like a big convenience for them to not have to type like at Pickle Financial to ask me a question in stream. So that was the main reason I did it. Also, it's just like easier to say, rolls off the tongue better. What's about that? How? Wow, he can do that from memory without looking at the chart. Fully cooperating with the SEC. I never believe that GameStop, with this focus of the investigation, is one of the bad actors, merely just a victim. Yeah, I agree. So in regards to Ryan Cohen, I just went back over his Twitter timeline to find the roller coaster tweet he posted back in January. It's been deleted. Really? Interesting. I didn't know he posted a roller coaster tweet. I don't pay attention to Ryan Cohen's fucking Twitter. The number of don't buy this stock at sub 200 because you'll only be able to make thousands instead of millions is so crazy. Infinite loss means infinite loss. Yeah, that's correct. And honestly, if the fucking stock only ever had the potential to go to 10,000, right? And it was on sale for $200, you would have to be a complete fucking idiot not to buy it, right? Like if the max, like if the short position was smaller and the max cap was like, oh, it can only run to like 10,000 and most of the shorts covered back in January, if any of those meltdown theories are fucking true, all of those people should be buying the stock right now, right? Because they still think it'll go to 10,000. The bear case is that the fucking stock's going to go to $10,000. Like, think about that for a second, right? That's the bear case. Is it's only going to go to like a grand or 10 grand. Like, what? Why wouldn't you be buying every fucking share you could get your hands on if that was true? So like even the people arguing against the stock still have a bull case for it. AMC's not going to a fucking $1,000. Yeah, we could see a return of the purple lines, Chris. I suspect on our next run-up, we'll see a return of them. I think our that growth pattern is going to come back shortly. And this time with no at-the-money offering to negate it. Maybe a more direct growth pattern this time as well. And technically speaking, we've been in an ascending channel since, I mean, back here, actually. Different levels, but like this is an ascending, this is one ascending channel. This is a second one. We've broken above it, we've come below it, but we've been going up this whole time. It's like my ex only buying lotto tickets if the price is 30 million instead of just 2. I mean, it's just like buying lotto tickets in general is silly, but yeah, exactly. That's, I mean, it's very accurate, Alethea. Yeah, there's no gamble here. There really isn't. Even if it slow squeezes like Tesla over a year, right? Everyone who owns it now will be rich in a year. Like very decently wealthy. And you know, even if MOASS never occurred and you know GameStop worked with the SEC to stifle it, which is the only really way I could see that happening, and not in GameStop's best interests at all. I could see them supporting an SEC investigation and being like, hey, we tried to help them, but the squeeze happened anyway. And that gives them like a nice fallback, right? But like, I can't see them continuing to assist the SEC going into the future, because ultimately they want the shorts off the stock. A squeeze is beneficial for them in the long run. But even if that was the case, and we ran up to 1,000 and split and ran up to 1,000 again, who gives a shit? You'll still be rich. It'll just take longer. Also, remember that the short interest on Tesla was like 34%. It was not this high. And that's why they were able to continue to, they had enough money. This is impressive. This is how much money these short hedge funds have. They had enough money to suppress the price of Tesla for fucking 2 years while they squoze it, right? But like, ultimately, they still had to cover. And that was only 30% short interest. So if they had enough money to keep the price of GameStop suppressed for several years, it would still make all of us multimillionaires. Because even if you had 10 shares, right now, like XX shares, and you move in, it goes up to 1,000, right? And they do a 5-to-1 split, and then you have 50 shares, and it goes up to 1,000 again, and they 5-to-1 split, and now you have 500 shares, or no, 500, 250, 250 shares, right? And then just like that would just keep happening every 3 months. But they don't. It's not a concern. Yeah, the fundamentals do make it a win-win either way. All right, we're an hour in, and I've run out of questions to answer. What's the date on the point of your ascending triangle if the cup and handle fails? It is August 17th currently, but that's, I mean, that could be longer or shorter. There's like, that's not, don't look at the end of the triangle to be accurate, because that's just where I drew it, right? Because you can draw it from like, there's a supporting triangle here as well that you could draw much further out, right? And that's like October, and that's also an up, like confirmed by an uptrend. So several of these exist. There's one from further back, like if you start at the beginning of the squeeze in January, or like the gamma squeeze, right? That one's could be as far out as like that could be like towards the end of August. There's a lot of triangles here. So, I mean, yeah, there's any time between August and September, you could see like an ascending triangle support if we don't clear the resistance there. I don't like the new one. I'm just making a point that there's a lot of supporting trends, right? This one's currently on August 16th. But technically, even though I'm not counting it because the volume is so low, like technically it should be here, right? And then this should be extended to encapsulate that dip in volume. Like that. Well, not that low. That's too low. Hold on. 150. Which would then bring this out to, yeah. Hold on. I messed up. I'd have to redraw that, but yeah, I mean, if we do end up failing, there's other supporting indicators that we'll take a look at. ADX still looks really strong. So if we begin an uptrend, I'm assuming it will carry. And remember, these last two candles are green. Technically, they're positive or slightly positive days. Eventually, he gets a Warden's Polygon. What finish should I use on this cherrywood desktop? Was that polyethylene? You can do like a natural finish. Cherry looks nice with a natural finish, not polyethylene. God damn it. I can't think of the name. Like a clear one? Sand it, polish it, buff it. Polyurethane, thank you. In August, I will literally be in Europe with my parents, at which point I can tell them the results of this little investment in person. Awesome, dude. August 5th was my birthday. Moon, no, not moon confirmed for your birthday. Maybe. I hope so, Janiski. I hope before then, also. All right, give me more questions, guys. I want more questions. 54 minutes, and you guys have run out of things to ask me? Not possible. Win MOASS. Your guess is as good as mine, Ryan. What indicators are you currently watching? What is the airspeed of an unladen swallow? I don't know. Depending if it's African or European. Should I go long on salt futures? Warren seems to be using a lot of it. What other indicators? So I'm watching MACD for a crossover. If we go here to WeBull, let me pull up WeBull. Close that. So if we go out to the daily, I'm looking for a crossover on MACD. We're getting closer. We should get one soon. I think we might have one on the 4 hour already. Yeah, so we've crossed over on the 4 hour, which means we'll likely continue this trend up and then cross over on the 5 or on the daily soon. Oh, why is it doing that? Fucking goddamn it. I hate that. Oh. It's trying to update. Ooh, new update for WeBull. Cool. We can set up and view orders and positions in an option chart. You view a market depth and order book. Ooh. That's cool. Order book upgrades. I like that. That's fun. Fucking Plenter's gonna shit his pants. What time frames for MACD should we look at? Just daily or 4 hour or daily. Longer time frames are better. Even if you're using MACD on the intraday, you should be watching like the 5 minute, not the. I don't like MACD. It's a trailing indicator, so it's too slow for 1 minute time frame. But it's fine to look at it on the daily. You could look at it on the weekly, but it's like kind of unreliable because of the run up in January. Actually, if you look at the cup and handle on the weekly, it's super fucking sexy too. Maybe I'll talk about it on the weekly in the TA. Ooh, wow, it's really nice on the week. Holy shit. It's even better on the weekly. When in doubt, zoom out, right? God damn. That is a nice, real nice cup and handle. That's like how you would draw it for a 5-year-old. If you were like, this is what a cup and handle is. Himalayan salt. I'm also looking at ADX, which is the trend indicator. That's for those of you guys that check out Tradespotting. ADX is very similar to the indicator that he uses, like directional movement index. So what happened is we actually came up to 44, and then this week we dipped because of that low volume, but we're still above that 33 that I was looking at. So right here at the previous consolidation, we peaked out at 33, and so we're above that and trending up again. So I think we're going to actually start to move up in the ADX trend right now. And ADX generally indicates a long, like a very long trend once it starts to move significantly to the upside. The trend on ADX doesn't usually change. It's very similar to like a 50, 200-day moving average. In that, like, once a confirmed uptrend occurs, you're going to see that play out continually over a long period of time. Should I go once? What have you been doing to prep for MOASS? Informing more people, I guess. I don't really have any MOASS prep that I need to do. I had to roll some of my in the money options like a couple weeks ago, which was expensive as fuck. But besides that nearly bankrupting me, I'm okay otherwise. Are you coming up to your first payment from YouTube? I think so. Yeah, I should be getting one soon, I think, in the next like 5 days or something. But it's like not for a lot because it's just like the first month I was doing this. Sure, based on my backtesting results. Question: why do the same days appear as red candles on Henkin and same day as green on regular? So if the volume, if the price traded is below the 50% mark of the previous candle, it'll be red. Even if the day is positive. Eddie. On Henkin Ashi. It's one of the reasons they're so good at indicating trends on the 1-minute chart. But don't use Henkin Ashi based on my backtesting, Eddie. Use it based on your own backtest. You choose a candlestick based on your own backtesting. I really like them because they're very good at predicting trends, or I think they're better at predicting trends intraday. Even on long-term timescales, I'll switch my candlesticks to like just like confirm things. Like you can confirm the bounce off that ascending wedge if you switch the candlesticks. But for day trading, I use them, and they work better for me. But that doesn't mean they work better for everybody. And it was only like a 2% difference, the switch, so it wasn't super significant, right? How wild do you expect next week to be for GME, the rest of the market? Pretty crazy. I'm wondering if the market's going to crash on Monday. One of you guys have been sending me some very interesting aftermarket shit on the SPY, like million buy orders coming in after hours, like million share buy orders and sell orders coming in like way above the current like bid ask. It's very odd. So it looks like the market's being propped up right now, probably in order to give the interested parties time to get out, which is all the parties, right? What is the difference of the 4-hour versus the daily? The longer time frame is better because the longer the trend equals more confirmation of the trend. Yeah. The longer time frame, not only more confirmation of the trend, but on the longer time frame, the candlesticks individually contain much more volume. And so they're a better indicator of trend, mostly because of that volume, but also because of time. I like daily a lot because you get one candlestick per day. 4 hours fine, but it's off, right? Because the trading day is 7 hours. So when you use 4 hour, you have to use aftermarket. You have to make sure you have after hours turned on. So you have the appropriate, you have 6 candlesticks per daily trading period. Tradespotting guy has not gotten back to me yet about the co-stream, but I just messaged him on Twitter. I don't know if I mean, I never check my Twitter messages. He probably doesn't either. I think someone told me to like message him on Instagram, but I don't have one, so nor do I want one. I don't like participating in the Facebook account, like social media economy. Is ADX helpful during MOASS, or is it it's also a trailing indicator? As is RSI, but RSI moves more relative to the current price action on the 1 minute. You can see how the breakout was shorted. Yep. You can. ADX, a good indicator, unlike OBV. Assuming MOASS will happen. Wait, did I miss any questions? No. All right. Assuming MOASS will happen close to a market crash. If I want to hedge by buying houses and land, when should I buy them? As soon after the crash, a bit after, right away? I think it actually takes a long time for the real estate market to absorb hits like that. But I think there will be like a fire sale on real estate as the eviction moratorium picks up. I'm not super well versed in real estate. I know enough about it that like I could probably make money there, but I would maybe lose more than I make. But yeah, I would imagine there'll be a lot of foreclosed homes at auction. Now you might have to compete with BlackRock to bid on them, but I'd imagine a lot of foreclosures are going to come due as we move into the end of the summer and into the winter. Also a point at which real estate prices naturally drop. So maybe this winter. I feel like there's probably better sources of information than me on this, but Mind Thief says your apartment does not go dark. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate that. Suing MOASS. It doesn't matter. But usually, like, I know the real estate market hit its low after the 08 crash in 2012, I believe it was. That's when I bought, so I told you guys I have a REIT called O. That's around the time I bought that REIT. And that was a very good entry for me on that. Zillowing Florida Keys. Anyone have any resources? Don't forget that a lot of nice places to live have super shitty internet. Rich people, like rich people towns, their town boards don't like to allow a lot of like municipal infrastructure construction to go on because it inconveniences them. And so most wealthy towns have awful like municipal services. So if you plan on like trading afterwards, that's actually a big consideration. They have like, there are people who are specifically like real estate development, like fiduciaries. Like they can help you, find assets, purchase assets, build a portfolio of real estate. And like, that's their whole job. And they know the markets, like the real estate markets much better than I do. So I'd suggest looking for somebody whose, focus is that. See you later, Chris. I'm learning so much watching you. Hopefully I never have to use it again. That's the idea. What indicators are good for intraday to follow? I really like RSI. I like VWAP. I will use candlesticks, but mostly I trade on trend. So I guess that would quantify me as like a breakout trader. If you guys are Dillionaires and you've seen like my like picks over on like day trading or options plays, you will see that I usually play like long-term breakouts on the daily. So I'm like a breakout trader technically, but I also do a lot of other types of trading around that. Like I don't really play earnings, but I'll play like multi-leg option strategy sometimes. I swing trade certain things. Because there's just times when like one strategy is not enough, but you definitely want to have at least one right away, like initially, and then you can pick up more strategies as you go on. In bear market, like the last bear market, I just traded futures the whole time, which is kind of like options, sort of. But honestly, the period after MOASS, if there is a market crash, may not be a good time to be a trader anyway. As it would probably be, like, if we have a true crash and, like, the Shiller index comes down and we see that, like, PE10, like, the PE10 drop, and, like, we have a true market crash, that's going to indicate a shift in the trend of the market, right? And we're going to enter a bear market. And bear markets are not ideal for beginners at all to trade in, and very difficult for experienced traders. So that's like a really good time to like just buy and hold shit and wait for the market to turn around, which usually like historically has never taken longer than 9 months. Although this one could be longer just due to the fact that like this is kind of a compounding, if this crashes, this is kind of a compounding crash of like 08 and COVID finally like coming to light. Or buy a villa for cheap. Prices are super inflated right now. Worst case, just buy a silent 80 for 6 million and live on that. Yeah, there you go. Boat maintenance is ridiculous though. CoolDaddy, just remember that. Like $6 million yacht probably costs you about 100K a year at least to just maintain. Like you want to make sure that you have like that's why you don't see billionaires buying yachts until they're like retiring. Right, because like they buy them at the point at which like they're going to be rich forever no matter what they do, right? Crash coming of shrugged and said they'll just wait it out because the market always bounces back. So many people content with being robbed. Yeah, I mean that's most of investors' sentiment, right? Is like I put my money in there, and that's to be fair, that's Warren Buffett's sentiment, except the thing that Warren Buffett does differently than that is not only does he hold through the crash, he uses those crashes and those economic downturns as moments of opportunity to buy stocks that he's been watching for a very long time. And that is most of where his success has come from. Like the vast majority of his money has come from investing in things when they were on sale. Been a Dillionaire for a month, and this is my first hot tub stream. That's crazy, Eric. I feel like I've never seen you in here before. Well, I hope you're enjoying it. Not for an IT guy. So you're telling us to be hood rich? No. What do you mean? I'm confused. I know what the term means, but like, how am I telling you to do that? Shares in a bank brokerage like JP Morgan with some of the weird stuff that's been going on with banks and potential market crashes. I don't think JP's gonna fail. That would just be like a failure of the U.S. economy at that point. It's really hard for the banks to fail, even in the event of a crash. And it looks like they're taking steps to protect themselves already. So, but JP Morgan, I expect, given their asset holdings, would not fail anyway. Like, they're much, much bigger than, like, Bear Stearns and Lehman Brothers were combined. Wells Fargo, I guess, could fail. They're small. They're small enough. B of A, maybe. Citigroup's probably safe. Hard to say, though. We don't... I mean, that's the thing with a crash, is you never really know how bad it can be. Because that's all... at a certain point, it's all just based on sentiment, right? If there was no emotion in the market would have crashed already. I can confirm as a utility worker. How about with maintenance a lot on yachts? I don't know. You still have to. The bitch about yachts is cleaning them. Cleaning them, maintaining the hull. But they have to be like scraped all the time. And then crewing them, unless you're gonna drive it around yourself. But like, I know a guy who's he was an old neighbor of mine. He was a yacht captain, and he got paid a shitload of money to do what he did. They don't come cheap. Like 120 grand a year salary that you got to pay him, plus like benefits and taxes. So like 240 grand a year out of pocket for just the captain. So if you have like a big enough yacht, it needs a crew. And like, if that's the case, then like it's a lot of money. If it flies, ducks, or floats, you should rent it. Probably. Oh, those ducks. Like a duck? Why am I gonna rent a duck? Topic of boom is Silent Series barely needs any as these electric motors. The only generator needs maintenance from time to time. Already started doing DD on it. Awesome. Awesome, Janiski. I hope you're enjoying it. Oh, not too big to fail, but very hard for it to fail, Eric. Do you have an age restriction on this video? No? No age restriction. It's just, you just publish it as not for children. That's all, that's like all you're required to do. You don't have to like, because there's no like sexually mature content or like talk of firearms or drugs. I think like it's not like a pro drug channel. And there's like a restriction list vis-a-vis the community guidelines, but no age restriction. Why do you ask, Keo? Live in the Lambo first, then live on a yacht. After MOASS, would you buy to a trip into space with Branson or Bezos, or a hard no on rocket ship trips? The benefit should be that you were on a yacht. Yeah. All right. So, anything else, guys? Ooh, I've got stocks that we can open. Let's go claim some stocks. Yep. CX. Ooh, more Kraft Heinz. More CX. ADT. More CX. 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 Well, slow path to majority shareholder in Cemex. But I'm getting there. It's always awesome when I get like a Kraft Heinz, but it's been so long since I've gotten like a Facebook or a Starbucks. And I know they give out like Tesla and shit too, just not to me. Like I'd say like 1 out of every like 20 is Kraft Heinz. At least it wasn't fucking Genworth Financial again. That's the worst. But I'm gonna start using those to fund like day trading on stream. So I'm just gonna save those in the account, sell them, and then like use that to fund like day trading on really slow days or whatever. So we can like learn more about that on the side. Stock loot boxes. Exactly. The restriction law doesn't allow me to listen to the background on my phone. I miss my eyes. It says the video is only for kids. It stops the stream. Let me triple check that, but it really shouldn't. That shouldn't be the case. It says no. I have it selected. No, it's not made for kids, and don't restrict my viewers over 18. I think you're getting that, KO, because it's a private, like it's a members only stream. So I think that's the restriction. It's not like actually an age restriction, but YouTube has this like members only stream thing as in beta. And so I'm sure it has something to do with that. But this is like the standard setting I use for all my streams. Are you gonna travel post MOASS? I know I'm gonna see a bit of the world. Yeah, I mean, I'll travel to nice places. But there's several continents which are just kind of out of the question for me. Bullish on CX. It's actually doing pretty good. Are there any other shorted stocks that I'm watching? Not currently. Although they all seem to be getting like pumped and dumped. I might buy some more calls on GM this week, as I still think it's gonna break out. So that'll be something I'm probably doing on Monday. Monday morning, I'll be looking into picking up some more calls for GM. GM, solid boomer stock, but when it has a breakout, it's usually a good one. So, also their price target just got upgraded to like 85. So maybe I'll buy some like further out calls and see if I can just like clean up. And the options are cheap. Like if we look at I don't know, like September options, they're only like $300 at $60. So if they're still that price on Monday, I'll probably pick some up. Is there a poster of Geo in Times Square? Not for nothing. I think Burry is heavy in that. I don't know. The last time I've been to Times Square, I was like 3 years old. I stay as a proper New Yorker, I stay the fuck out of Midtown. I don't even run during the week. Idiots. Weekdays only. Stream won't play in the background for me either. Yeah, I think that's just because it's a members only stream. Like if you guys are able to do it normally, and not on the members only stream, that's why. What's up, Cornub? It's going good. We went over a bunch of stuff. I'm going to post the VOD right after for anybody that tuned in late. It'll be up within a few minutes of me ending the stream. I had a half-awake conspiracy thought that the entity short on GME could pay the hacker groups that keep popping up in the news to hack our brokers and somehow hinder MOASS. I don't think you understand hacking. Maybe Spectre Bravo. It's some pretty tough encryption to crack for each account. I mean, I guess they could try to, yeah, no, that shit's pretty secure. I mean, relatively. See my message about trade spotting. Maybe not, KO. Did you DM me? I'm excited to travel Europe and not stay in a hostel and actually stay in a 5-star hotel. Yeah, this is the way. Hold CX. Yeah, I might. I keep getting so much of it. But their float's gigantic. Kind of hoping the cruise stocks go crazy. Bought in at the very bottom, and now I'm long term. I mean, eventually they'll pick back up, but who knows when. Low key, 12 p.m. is too early on a Saturday. Sorry, I have other shit to do today, Elena. So, like, I know it's rough, especially for people on, like, the West Coast, but if I could do it any later in the day, I would, but I really can't. Otherwise, I just get nothing done all day. And since I spend, like, all day Sunday, like, doing videos and writing DD, like, Saturdays, like, the hours after this on Saturday is, like, really my only free time during the week. I recently made GME my YOLO and exited my other position. I do have some regrets about it because the stock I liquidated seems to have pretty good upside potential in a few weeks. I mean, GME's got pretty good upside potential. Probably better. I don't know if there's a stock with better upside potential currently. I mean, it may not happen in the same period of time. So yeah, you may have locked up some capital, but ultimately, I think it's probably better than most stocks you could own out there. I also forgot I was a member. Not for over 18 only. Wait, what? I just heard you when checking your settings. Did you say the box is unchecked? Yeah, it's not an adult-only stream. So, it's not advertised to... So, it just has to do with YouTube's terms of service, but it's not advertised to children, but it's also not, like, considered adult content, right? Like, it's not violent or sexually graphic or drug or gun related, which I think are, like, the big ones. There's some other stuff, but it also, like, there's no, like, televised death or anything like that on it, so I don't have to check that over 18 bucks. YouTube confirms it on their end with every video I upload, also. Yeah, make sure you have two-factor authentication on all your accounts. That's definitely big. Make sure that you don't use your real name in YouTube chat. That's probably another big one. What's the likelihood of circuit breaker halting where trading is stopped for the day? Hey, not for the day, but circuit breakers are very likely. They're gonna happen. They're gonna happen probably pretty often, but They only last for like a set period of time, unless it happens right before close, in which case it stays halted until after market closes. I'm just messaging really just because I forgot I was a member of my Discord to play Call of Cthulhu. Well, Elena, I'll have the VOD uploaded afterwards so you can watch it at your leisure. Is moving to a different place post MOASS a good idea? I need to get out of Philly, and I think it would reduce the risk of people coming to beg. Could be. If is says not for over 18, then check it out, make it for all. It's set up correctly, Alethea. I think maybe we have there's some confusion on the terminology, but the only box that I can check is either it's for children or it's for 18 plus, like adult content. There's no like in between option for me to check, right? So you just leave both blank because it's not marketed for children, and it's also not for adult only audience. My 5-year-old comes here for the drawings on the charts. Well, 5-year-olds hear bad words sometimes, right? It's fine. I try not to curse. I'm just bad at it. What's wrong with Philly? Is it a bad place to live? It's not the best if you've ever been there. It's kind of shitty. Confirmed Kirk is over 18. I am, unfortunately. What's up, Windmill? Some viewers here, I think, are trying to use restricted mode on YouTube, and that screws some normal channels up. Work with some good guys in IT realm. What's the best and worst place you've lived? You lived a lot of places. So, let's see. The best places I've lived, probably like Manhattan, like Southern Orange County is really nice. The people suck, but it's a nice place to live. I really liked England a lot when I lived there. Those are probably like the best places. The worst place I've lived is probably Carson City, Nevada. That's kind of a shithole. Or Florida. Florida was pretty shitty too. Actually, yeah, Florida was worse. Florida was worse than Carson City. I think you've actually gotten better at not swearing. Have I? I dropped a C-bomb in chat the other day. Is it bad that I check crypto markets on the weekend to get my charting fix? You'll get tired of looking at charts. So do you think it's worth completing a bachelor's post-MOASS just out of the prospect of a 100K job in the future? I guess that would depend on how rich you are, right? If you plan on doing a lot of business with your post-MOASS earnings, it does help to have a degree. as it's proof that you're not an idiot. But that's really all it's proof of. It's that you've obtained. It's not even proof that you're not an idiot. It's just that you're like, you'll work hard and do what people say. I think that's more of what like college degrees are a proof of. Like, you'll conform to the system. Some people value that. But if you have enough money, no one gives a shit if you have a degree or not. Congrats, dude. I graduated with like a 4. It's like a 4.2 or something. It was like the first year. It was like the first year they started giving like extra credit for AP courses. I know not all universities do that, but that's good, man. I hope you might as well finish like if you're like almost all the way through, right? Check out New Mexico. Haven't met anyone who doesn't like it there. Yeah, I've never liked New Mexico. It's hot and full of fucking meth heads. There's some nice places to live, but all the locals give me serial killer vibes. And the rich people don't stay there all year. Definitely not my favorite place. Giant fucking weird desert bugs also. Yeah, they're not proof that you're not an idiot, but they are proof that you'll like kind of like do a thing that you're told to do for a period of time to at least an average level. I have an MBA and I'm totally an idiot. Trying to do to change the business other than NFT. The distribution centers are way bigger news than the NFT. When you're in the business of selling shit, logistics support networks are your bread and butter. This is why Amazon is a huge company. It's not because of their like it's not because of like Prime Video or any of the other shit. It's because they can move product to a consumer quickly. That is why they are worth what they are worth. And so like people way underestimate the importance of the distribution centers opening. Why do you think every time they announce one, they short the shit out of the stock? Because people in business know how important that is. The general public, not really. But the Amazon is rich on the back of logistics. And they are fucking good at it. Let me tell you. That and AWS. But that's why working in their warehouses is so terrible, because they're hyper efficient, which humans aren't great at. Yeah, I mean, you could go to like ski resorts and shit in New Mexico and hang out, but like I don't know anybody with like I know people with money who have houses there and like Taos and shit, but like they don't fucking stay there more than like a month out of the year. No, they're building up the marketplace. That's an Canadian. You know, it'd be great for them if they don't allow fucking second party sellers on their marketplace. I know it sounds bad, but and they don't fudge their review system. If they could do those two things effectively, they could really steal a large portion of market share from Amazon. Not a drug dealer, by the way. Hopefully they add one centrally as well. If I were them, I'd be adding warehouses and working out shipping contracts with the major shipping carriers like DHL, UPS, FedEx. Like working out like long-term contracts. I'd be building up a fleet of or try to invest in like driverless semi trucks because they could be on the forefront of that too, right? Potentially, if they have the capital. Jersey drivers are like some of the worst that I've run into. Pennsylvania drivers are kind of crazy, but they're not that bad. It depends where you are in the state. Like around Philly, it's a little nuttier, but further west, it's not so bad. California drivers are pretty fucking awful too. But I think that's a product of like how much time they have to spend driving. UPS has a huge hub in Kansas City, yeah. Yeah, I agree. That's why I said they need to ban third-party sellers and have their own quality control. That's what I would do if I was setting up an e-commerce company right now. I'm not saying they're gonna do it, but you know, I did talk about the NFT long before they announced it. Ryan Cohen in here stealing my fucking forward-looking business plans. Going international could take some time. Maybe DM that to him on Discord, Windmill. Here's hoping my bet prints. I hope it does. I'm stoked. But are you rolling GME calls to the 23rd? So currently I have a call spread, which is I just bought as a test of price action that I think could occur. I do not recommend anybody follow this call spread at all because it's super risky. But I have the actual spread is I have 4 250s for the 16th, and then I have a 300 and a 400 for the 23rd. But no, I will not be. The plan is not to roll these. I have 3 more 250s in my Fidelity account, and 1 more 300 and 1 more 400. But and the 800's just a volatility play if we run hard. But yeah, I don't recommend anybody follow that. We could easily have another flat week. I'm not sure yet. So if you're copying my plays or you're thinking about it, be warned that it is highly risky. Yeah, I probably buy more products off Newegg than Amazon for tech also. I also go to Micro Center a lot. I prefer buying from Micro Center than either of those. Thinking of rolling SPXS on Monday or Tuesday. Yeah, I think I'm gonna roll mine too, unless we get a big drop on Monday, which we very well could. I'll cover that in the forward-looking DD for this week, which will be out tomorrow. The video should be out sometime tomorrow night. Nope, not financial advice, Cornub. Just telling people that, you know, I can't stop people from copying the plays that I visibly make, right? On stream, but I can warn them that they do present a great deal of risk, as I have no certainty that they'll print. What, you're not going to spam and hype us to buy the same options as you? No, because this isn't an AMC stream. Absolutely, Osnadian. I'll see you later, man. Have a good one. Whoa. Wow. Cornub. All right. Any other questions? We got about 4 minutes left. See you later, Seacraft. If there's anything you guys want answered before Sunday claws at you. Oh, and remember to front run your community. You have to have Tiblio to do that. It's not a Head and Shoulders hat. See you, Elena. I will. CoolDaddy. I'll get a chance to read it today, probably. All right. How much for Bikini Hot Tub stream? 10 shares of GME post MOASS. And I'll put on whatever bikini you want. You got to sell them high, though. You got to sell at the peak. Thank you, Ecstasy. All right, guys. Thank you all so much for tuning in. I appreciate it, as always. You guys have been a huge support in keeping this channel going. I can't thank you enough. And I will see you all bright and early Monday morning for what I hope is a pretty interesting week. Do you ever play any commodities? I bought some calls on USO, ETF expiring 7:30. I'm thinking oil, gas, etc. going to continue to increase about 10% as of close. I have played commodities. There's a chance oil runs up on inflation. Usually oil does well on inflation, so yeah, I mean, you got a good play there as long as you have enough time on it. If not, you'll do well seasonally in August. So, as usually the summer months drive the there's like a seasonal commodities play for oil in the summer months. All right, thank you all so much. I will see you Monday. Thanks, guys. Bye.